And the next one, shuffle sharding and fault isolation. This particular feature, what it does is like it sends a few of the requests to the some of the resources. Let's say you have resource 1, resource 2, and resource 3. In this particular feature, what it does is like it ensures if one of the shared one of the resources is like infected or down, the other one, which is the third one in this example, will be in a position to up and running. So at least one server, it will make sure that it will up and running, and it will suffice all the requests to the requests which are being made to that particular server or the resource, what you call it. And coming to the next one, optimize for cost. So we have seen couple of examples before, like what AWS does is it scales off for organizations huge opportunities to make cost savings. So if typical organizations having IT normal typical IT rather than the cloud environment, when they have moved their data centers and all the applications into the cloud, they have seen a lot of cost being saved, and it's it's proved in the many of the many industries or the business across the world. So like it's one of the feature or the benefit that you get it out of the cloud. And next one is right sizing. So we need to what this particular right sizing does is like it selects the most cost effective resources and configurations to put your requirements, which means like we have seen like if you want the very less throughput and you want the data to be you know respond very within a fraction of seconds, you will go with the redshift. And RDS is if you have some traditional databases which is wanted you to deploy, right, based on the application, the kind of nature of the application that you wanted to deploy, so you will go for the RDS. And the EC2 is also similar, so you would be doing the right sizing, or choosing the right instance of service from the AWS, right? Elasticity. So elasticity, like if we have come across to this particular feature quite many times, which is like horizontal scaling, vertical scaling, and shut down non-production servers. So applications are servers or the features are very much available, like let's say if you have this horizontal scaling, if you wanted to do like with the EC2 instances, you can add one more EC2 instances. And the vertical scaling, if you wanted to do with the existing memory plus CPU, you can do the vertical scaling. And when it comes to the production server, you can like you can shut down non-production servers if those servers are not in use, right? So you can utilize some uh, space over there, and you can save the money from the instances are which is been consumed or deployed into the cloud. So coming to the next one, purchasing options on demand. So like you can purchase any like instances based on the pricing which is available, like only for pay what you use. So that we were have seen quite many times, right, in the previous slides. Like if you are using something for that particular instance, you have to pay for it. If you're not using, no need to pay for it. It's everything on demand. And even the purchasing options will be available on demand, and you can save money when you are not using that particular instances while you're working on the business. So that's one of the advantage in future. And purchasing options are reserved. So like in AWS as trusted advisor or EC2 usages, if you have some reports to identify the resources that benefit from the server capacity. Um, if you see that like on demand EC2 instances and reserved instances, There is no much technical differences. You can figure it out. So the only difference is like you would be paying for it based on the pay scale, which is in the costing of that particular instances, which has been listed out while you're going for the costing of particular instances. Coming to the purchasing options, the coming to the spot, like EC2 spot instances are ideal for workloads that have flexible start and times. Here also you can choose, spot instances if you wanted to go for the different workloads. Depends on the workloads, right? I mean, you can go for the EC2 instances. You can, like what is your computing capacity, what is the kind of load which you're going to take it from the business, right? So all these things will be considered while taking any particular load on the server. It's like on demand pricing only. So if you have the requirement, if you want some more workloads to be added to it, you can add and pay for it. And purchasing options, spot strategies. So like you go for the three different strategies when you go for the spot instances. One is bidding, and the other one is a mixed strategy, and the third one is spot blocks. What bidding is, like a bid higher than the spot market price to get cheaper overall price. So when you are going for the spot strategy like purchasing options, you bid something which you wanted to pay for that overall services, irrespective of how many servers that you wanted to buy. If you're getting that bidding higher than the spot market price to get it for a overall cheaper price, if you're good in bidding, so uh, you can get that particular service for what you have bidded for. And mixed strategy, if you have like some applications, like on-demand applications, spot instances, and like design applications that use mixture of reserved services, you can go for the mixed strategies. And if you have something like let's say if you wanted to buy some instances without um, what how I can say is like for a particular period, if you want to buy some services instead of um, for a longer term, right? So you can I mean you can spot that blogs and say that what is the duration that you wanted those services, and you can bid for only that services for that particular duration, not for the like larger state of the period. Okay, coming to the caching. So the caching of the data, which is very much required because like when we calculate previously calculated data for the future use, right? So you don't have to recalculate. So there are two approaches which we can approach for doing this calculation of the data. One is application caching and the other one is edge caching. So in the application caching, typically you see like all the managed and in-memory caches and all the storage application storage which you wanted to use it, right? And retrieve information from the fast. So all these kind of application caching will be part of these services. This way an application to cook for results in a cache first. And the Amazon Elastic Cache is a service that provides an in-memory cache in the cloud. So the in-memory one is like if you talk about in-memory, which is not the physical storage, right? You will there are quite many in-memory applications like in the cloud where it doesn't store the data in the like typical databases. Either we have in AWS like RDS or all this. It will not even store in the uh, in memory is a temporary memory storage. It will store the data over there before it get processed or stored into any of the physical storage. right? So that way you can get the response very faster. So this is one of the, like, Elastic Cache. It provides the in-memory cache in the cloud, so which is one of the great feature. Once you have the data which is there in the server, if you are doing some operations on it, it will be again like you'll be giving the load on the server. Instead, if your application is there in the in-memory cache, without much load on the server, or with the low latency, and you can get the responses in a very faster moment. So once you feel that all the in-memory data is being consumed, and that time you can go for the permanent storage. So there are different scenarios where the in-memory cache will be used. Let's say if you're doing some kind of stock pricing, right? So you stock pricing will state in very rapidly, right? So you have to use in-memory to update the data very frequently. So that time the in-memory cache will be one of the great feature, instead of going for any traditional or other databases to store the data. And coming to the edge caching, the static content, if you have like your all your images, web videos, or like any kind of files which you wanted to store, all this kind of thing will be stored in your edge caching. Not those are all not application caching. So the like if you wanted to download or upload any data, right? All these things will be as part of the edge caching. And also like it will be stored in the Amazon CloudFront. So all the edge caching informations like images, videos, and files, file informations, PDF files or Excel files, whatever, it will be stored in the CloudFront. So those things cannot hold the data in memory because it's a huge ones, right? So you'll not be, I mean, you don't require that images and videos in that fraction of seconds. So that can be loaded when you have that particular page is being loaded. Okay, so coming to the security one, like AWS offers you a range of products and services to ensure the security of your resources. So here we'll talk about the great features which is given part of the security. One is a defense in depth, and the next one is reduce privileged actions, and the security as code, and real-time auditing. So when it comes to defense in depth, like multiple layers of protection to your resources, and we have seen this and discussed about in a couple of previous slides also. Like AWS is equipped with your multi-factor authentication, which is a two-layer authentication before you access any of the services, right? And that reduce privileged access. So here you uh, okay, so like let's say if you have users in the particular cloud environment, you would be giving access whatever they require. We will not give access to the all the services or the features which are available. So which you will typically call it as role-based authentication or role-based access which you wanted to give it. So you would be creating different users and giving access to only to the services which you want them to access it. So you will not give access to all the required, I mean all the services. And coming to the security as a code, like when you wanted to capture your security requirements, right? And in a stored like one script format, if you wanted to store everything in a one script format, that can be deployed in a new environment. So that is also one of the security feature. And real-time auditing, like here when you see the test and audit your require environments in a real time. So um, I mean, you do the regular real-time auditing as part of your security features. It test and audit and see if there is any kind of a breaches happening as per the earlier agreed norms, and all that captured and intimated to the users, right? It will be given as a reports. Okay.